Hey, bro, a bit of a dry topic today, but we're going to talk systems and processes and why you got to have them in your business. We're going to take the people on a little journey through a time before we had any of that stuff and go back to some of that frontier era of the Jungle Alliance story to provide a backbone to then illustrate where we are now and why that shit's important and a big part of what we do.
Very cool.
Very good. Guys, welcome to the Jungle Brothers podcast. It's Joey and Paul. Welcome to the episode. Let's get into it. Now, it's a tricky one, bro, because when you want to talk business stuff, you use kind of business words like systems and processes. Mm-hmm. And that, I mean, if I'm looking at sort of 28-year-old me, new to running a gym and that whole thing, I'm just
Loves training.
Yeah, I got no fucking interest in whatever's coming after that.
What different types of training can I do today?
Yeah, I want to know about just training, adaptation and stimulus.
What gyms can I go and visit?
Yeah, movement.
Smash.
But systems and it's just dry, right? But really, let's just begin by kind of defining what we're talking about here. A system is just a collection of things that enable, like a mechanism for you to do something. And then the processes are kind of steps within that detail, cool, these are the steps to complete that. And then when you complete this collection of processes or whatever, there you go, you got yourself a system. Now, I think where young me really missed the fucking brain flash on this one was that if you don't have defined systems and processes, you still have systems and processes. They're just shit ones.
Yes.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
Like if you've never articulated how you do things like follow up on a lead and then try and convert them into a sale.
Yeah.
You still arguably kind of following up with people and having sales conversations. You're just doing it. You're underperforming at it. So, right?
Yeah, you're doing a shit job of it. What's more, you're likely using twice the energy to do it.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's like fucking can't be bothered sort of thing. But then yes, you use twice the energy. It requires more mental bandwidth because it's not. All of a sudden, it's all just in your head. Mm-hmm. It's all on you. Mm-hmm. And if you can't clearly articulate your system for doing that, then you can never pass it on to someone else.
Absolutely.
Similarly, you can't even sort of make it easier for yourself by just reviewing the checklist and going, oh, yeah, cool, next step, just do that. You have to potentially reinvent it every time. I think a great example of this is writing a program.
I think it's the best way to make an analogy of it, and it speaks to coaches and stuff like that in the fitness game listening to this. Yeah, it's just like writing a program or how you approach your training. If you're just training random shit all the time, you're not counting reps or weight. Yeah, you could probably still get stronger to a point, but you're not doing it very efficiently and you're not doing it very organized. So, yeah, like if you're trying to learn a movement, you've kind of got to know the parameters of that movement. Spoke about that last week, hey?
Yep.
Point A, point B, back to point A, and you've got to kind of measure that. And measuring, as the Drucker thing says, that's how you move forward. So, yeah, the training thing, writing a program is exactly the same.
When I remember like a really clear example for this, like you want to write a program for someone, and you sit down you're like, oh, my client Peter needs, we finished that program that we're on, he needs a new one. So you sit down and you open a new spreadsheet and you go, Peter, new program. Mm-hmm. And then you go, date, okay. And then you go, okay, workout 1. You go, maybe you think ahead a little bit. You're like, we'll do 2 workouts per week in this one. All right, workout 1, workout 2. And then you're like, cool, what's the first exercise? And it's like this thing where you're like, you're piecing together exercises, and then you're like, oh, that's a bit odd actually, because what I ended up with there wasn't actually kind of reflective of what the warm-up was. Let's change that. And you can get something. You can come up with a workout like that.
Yep.
And I think I still do that to an extent, right? And then I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? The system then, or like a better process for that, right, is sit down with a piece of paper, go, all right, I got 12 months with Peter. How long's a cycle of training? Okay, cycle of training's 8 weeks. All right, cool. So let's factor in some holidays. How many 8-week cycles we got this year? Okay, cool, we got that. All right, where's he at right now? Cool, what are we trying to achieve? Okay, so let's put down three goals for Peter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's get him to a double bodyweight deadlift. Let's get him to a bodyweight and a half back squat. Yeah, whatever, arbitrary goals, but just something to guide your decision making. And then go, okay, great. So I got goals. I got how many cycles we got here. All right, so we're looking at whatever, 6 cycles this year. It's more than that, but let's just say 6. Yeah, well, we're coming back in after a bit of break. All right, let's make the first 2 more about building a bit of muscle, just simple basic movement patterns. And then we'll go, so higher rep stuff. And then cycles 3 and 4, let's maybe start to lower the rest periods and let's push a little bit of capacity there. And then fucking last 2 cycles of the year, let's go hard on the strength work. Let's, big rest periods, big weight, low reps kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we've got a bit of a thing. Okay, cool. So we're working our way down. All right, well, I already kind of know what movements I'm focusing on, so let's factor them in. Cool, what are 3 good warm-up drills? It just, when you then get to the stage of time to write a workout, you've already done all the thinking. You're basically just filling in the blanks.
Yeah, so what you would do in that process is you would look at how you came to that. So say you kind of just got better slowly over time and then realized that you're doing it the way that you described. You then bullet point each question that you asked yourself in the process. So step 1 was...
What's the goal?
What's the goal? Step 2 is how long have I got?
Yeah.
Step 3 is what are his needs and what was in his movement screen, et cetera, et cetera. And that's where you're listing all that down, and you've got a bit of a checklist there that you've created off the back of repeatedly learning how to do it better and better, and then being in the context of building a process and thinking about it deeply then. So then next time you come to it, you've only got half an hour to write the program between classes. You can just go to your checklist and just follow along and trust that, hey, I've done all the hard work before. I just follow the process now and I'm going to bang this program out. But I mean half an hour. I mean like 10 minutes.
Bang, son.
4 minutes.
Shit. Yeah, they're and that's quite. I'm hoping that's quite eye opening for folks.
Yes.
Because you have then a document, and you could then you got someone that you want to teach how to program. You go, here's my process, and it's like how to write a program, and it's got these 10 questions.
Mm-hmm.
You sit down and do this, and you know what? What's huge about that, and this is kind of specific to that example, but you touched on it, which is you're in the headspace of creating the system, and so that they're like. Being in the headspace of refining or building your system is a different headspace to writing out a program.
So much.
Yeah, like one is reflecting on how you do things, and the other one is like you're in the training mode. You're like, okay, what am I? Okay, yeah, cool. Okay, we're talking hip hinge here. What am I looking at? So it's important because if you're trying to do both at the same time, you end up doing a shit job.
Probably a really good example of that one we see all the time is social media planning.
Yeah.
And posting. You know, you're fucking there, you're about to go to bed, you want to post something, you're trying to think of what it is that you need to post. You're looking at the photos that you have.
Yeah. What can I talk about?
While
you've got it's like choose your photo and you're like,
that's
what am I talking about?
And then you got this cool photo that you've got and you're like, I'm going to post about that. And then you post it and then next week you're like, fuck, that's not really in line with what I was trying to do. I've been trying to move towards here and I've just done the same thing.
I mean, you get it out, right? Here's the thing is you get it done, right?
Yep.
But yeah, where that post took you like literally an hour and 15 minutes and there was a mental struggle. Mm-hmm. There was like conflict in your head that you're like, fuck, why is this so hard right now? Versus I just popped that out in 10 minutes and it was easy.
And you're the master at it. And you could probably do that.
Master.
Fucking, what is it? Pai Mei of this shit.
What?
Pai Mei.
Pai Mei, who's that?
He's the fucking guy in Kill Bill's on the top of the hill.
Ah.
You know?
I only remember Hanzo Hattori.
Okay, yeah.
Swordsman maker.
He's the guy with the white hair. He's at
Okay.
the top of the stairs.
With the
Yeah, that's right. He teaches her the 1-inch punch.
Sick.
But
Did you like Kill Bill, by the way?
yes, I did.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I've watched it recently. Over the break, I watched one of them. Yeah,
And it held up for you?
definitely. And if we can just go on the sidetrack for a little bit,
Of course you can.
Tarantino, of our era, great director, so much fun, color. You know, it's just well written and everything. I love just going to that when I'm like, oh, what do I watch? And you've got this narrowcast fucking Netflix. I got all these other providers, and I'm like, every time I click on something, it's just you know, when you just want to hit and you want entertainment on multiple levels, not just like sick action, or if it's just, I just go Tarantino.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a commitment, right? Because it's a film. So you're like, all right, we're in this for a couple hours, whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, you cannot, like, we're privileged to have lived in a time when he was making movies.
I wonder what his process is. I think it's probably way more erratic than that. Oh, I've heard a podcast of him talking about how he writes, and it's fucked up.
Is it?
Yeah, I think he writes with shit all over the table.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Anyway.
Well, you know, there's an interesting...
That's still a process, though.
Yeah,
that's his process.
That's his process, right?
Yeah.
I remember reading about Paulo Coelho, the author.
Oh, yep.
Wrote The Alchemist and a bunch of other things. You know, really world-famous author, like huge best-selling books. And I think it was with Tim Ferriss in one of Tim Ferriss's books. But he was saying how his process for writing is he gets up, same time, boom, goes, sits at his desk, sits there, ponders a little bit, tries to put pen to paper or whatever, I don't know, computer, whatever. He's fucking, can't really get it going. So usually goes and has a coffee, fucks around a little bit, reads the paper, and take a walk. And then he basically fucks around for the first half of the day until he's like feeling such pressure to go and get, like, you know, whatever his target is, 20 pages or a chapter or something written, that he comes home and he's like, I got fucking 2 hours to get this done and does it. But he's like, that's my process.
It's like every uni student out there.
Yeah. You know, he's like, that's what works for me.
Yeah.
So I accept that procrastination, you know, and I think that's very interesting because you, like, arguably with gym management, you don't have this luxury, but you know, with a really creative process like that, sometimes that's how it has to be.
And I think that's the difference. There's a creative process and then there's an administration process.
Yeah.
With the creative one, it's very unique to the individual. And I think that it's all about making all the conditions right that you know work for you, but there's no guarantee that it's going to come.
Yeah.
But you're trying to make all the conditions work from previous experience. But yeah, with an admin thing, you know, and the drier aspects of just processes in your business, it shouldn't take any, you know, there's no reason why it should take any creative bandwidth in that, you know, for most of those tasks, like the drier stuff. It's fucking ones and zeros.
It's true, yeah. It's boxes that need to be ticked.
And obviously when you're doing it all the time, there is a creative part of you that's critiquing how you could do it better and stuff. But yeah, by and large, it's like, yeah, just do it in the course of your busy day.
Thinking of that, there is like, and you know this as doing the marketing, even doing the social media for the gym, there's a creative process there.
Yeah.
And inspiration is a part of that, and, you know, whatever, coming up with ideas and whatever.
And that's what I was trying to get at with you before. I kind of went Tarantino as that creative process and getting that all done, so then you just know what you're posting that day.
Yeah, making time for it.
Yeah,
but also like to the gym manager's kind of dilemma. If you can reclaim bandwidth by implementing more efficient systems, processes, then that allows you bandwidth for the creative stuff.
Yeah.
I want to come up with a mad Christmas party. Okay, well, you actually maybe now have some time to think about that. Whereas if you don't, if you're just running off the fucking top of your dome, reactive, I got to do sales calls, emails. Oh shit, that member complained, I didn't put their shit on hold, let me do that real quick.
Yes.
Fuck, we don't need any retention this month, I better start making some calls this afternoon.
Yes.
Then you just don't, you never carve out the time.
So true.
Or the bandwidth for those creative pieces.
Yeah, that being reactive, as you said, that word, is where you don't want to be, especially in those arenas where, again, there's no reason why you have to be. It's, you just have to have a system and follow it. But it gets you in a lot of trouble, and, you're just going to be fucking head spinning all the time, hating life there if you're always putting out fires. Put them out, you put them out. And one of my pet hates is when I put out a certain fire and then it comes up again and I put it out again. And it's like, if it happens a third time, then it's like, shame on me. I feel stupid when you make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you like that, but it's like, fucking hell. It's like,
yeah.
Because
you obviously did not address it correctly the first time.
That's right. Take a shot, goes to the left. Take a shot, goes to the right. Better be hitting that. Swish, bitch. The third shot.
You're talking like your brother Aroni said with golf.
Oh, that's right.
If you miss, it's okay, but you at least want to get the ball past the hole.
Yes.
Because if you miss, but it also doesn't make it to the hole, you never had a chance, even if the accuracy was on.
That's correct. It increases your chance by, I don't know what the math is, 25%?
I mean, can you quantify that?
Yeah. Well, you can miss left, you can miss right, you can miss by overshooting, or you can miss short in front of the hole.
Oh, I see.
So that would be 1 in 4 chance. So if you make it 1 in 3, then you've increased by whatever that percentage is.
There you go.
Always putt past the hole.
There you go.
I use that analogy with handstand kick-ups.
Right.
Well, you can't catch it if you haven't thrown it far enough.
That's right. You got to go beyond.
You got to go beyond at some point.
Yeah, otherwise you never stood a chance. Yeah, me too, actually. Someone said it to me once. They're like, if you don't have like a checklist for everything that happens in your gym,
yes,
and like if you didn't show up to work tomorrow and the gym couldn't open and operate without you, then like you don't have. Can't remember how they put it, but they're like, it's a fucking mess, basically. And I mean, we had like for a long time. And so it's like, what does that look like? And that the fella Logan that was talking about that was like checklist for everything. Everything.
Yeah.
And then you go like we used to be when we're in the film industry. Remember, you do a McDonald's commercial and you're in a McDonald's kitchen.
Yeah.
You're like a handful of times.
Yeah. Hell, I worked in Macca's.
Did you?
I worked at Macca's.
Okay.
I was in like year 10 or something.
So, like they got checklists for everything.
Everything.
It's like, closing procedure for the soft serve machine. Like, PM manager, like closeout role, opening shift. And you're like, man, this is so over the top. You see it in some cafes even sometimes. You're there and you can see like a checklist on the wall for the staff.
Yes.
But that's what we're talking about. That's like, hey, dude, don't think about it. Just do what's on here. And just fucking do that. And that's your job, is to just do what it says here every day. And then you're like, oh, cool. Well, all right, well, all I got to worry about is just making the coffee good or like pulling the fucking soft serve like a boss.
Yeah, the stuff that matters. And, we talk about having a front end and a back end. And we're in the very personal industry. We want to treat all that stuff like we want to get that out of the way so we can have more presence of mind in that other kind of domain that, you can't completely make a checklist for, just human interaction and stuff. We just want to make space for that and for coaching. It really, like you said before, it gives you space, headspace. And without it, it's a fucking tough way to go.
And the beauty then is, like, the big gain on headspace is when you can then go, oh, I'm going to pass this role on to someone else. And then instead of having to try and, kind of like when T and I stepped out and Dills came in with you, it was like how we kind of tried to hand over our stuff to Dills.
Yeah.
But it was just all from our head. So I kind of do this and I got this job that I do and this is also important.
Yeah.
Versus when you got it all there, it's documented, you go, this is my job.
Yes.
This is what you need to do now. And here there's like 6 different like processes here. I'm going to take you through them all and you get good at them and that's it. And that's like minimal disruption, because if you can just fulfill what I was fulfilling, then it should be pretty good.
Yeah.
Tell me, kind of closing sort of thought here. What's your view on the tricky part here, and I've fallen into this trap myself, is when you're constantly trying to edit your system rather than just using it. How do you view that? Like, because you got a system, you're like, cool, it's good enough, it's a recipe.
Yep. Yes.
But there's also this thing of like, I could make the recipe a bit better.
Yeah, I think so. Like the overarching system that we have is the management system, which is the managers of the gym. We have a system on how we fucking keep tracks on all of our systems. And that is that we meet on a Monday. We have powwows throughout the week. You know, at different parts of the year, we'll go out for lunch off-site when we have to think creatively. We go take each other out for lunch. Like, you know, that's actually part of the system of being a manager. And then we have our weekly meetings. So it's like anything. You can't analyze every fucking set of everything that you do. Sometimes you have to work through a program and then look at it at the end and look in hindsight, you know, and analyze it. I think just having your meetings there, like throughout the week, just fucking do the work and follow the system that we've got. When you come up in the meet on Monday, we have a meeting agenda where you can bring that up. And then we are in the context of managing everything. I can then make that decision more clearer than at the time. Because when you're fucking up at the time, you're like, I want to change it. You can't see everything else that's in the business. But in the context of on the Monday meeting, hey, that is going to make it better. It's probably not a good time for it now. So it's just...
That's the time to reflect.
That's the time to reflect on it. But yeah, you want to improve, but not at the sake of...
Never doing.
Yeah. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, it does. You're making a space for it.
Yeah.
And I guess there's a discipline in... I'm just trying to look up a thing here, John.
Unless, of course, something's broken, you know, and something's broken and it's going to cause harm to whatever, member, client journey or a sale or something like that, then you're going to fix it on the spot.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's funny. It took me a while to realize that with all the systems, you need a management system. And, you know, that's tied up. That's a really cool part once you kind of tap into that stuff. And for a long time, we were doing it organically. And then at a point, we're like, you know, we made more of a thing of it. And it's an idea that for it to all happen and for all your systems to happen is, well, we need to have roles in the gym. Remember, we never had clear roles?
No, yeah.
We had to...
That's boring.
Treat it like a business. That's boring shit.
Profit, that shit's boring.
Muscle is interesting. Yeah. Having clear defined roles. In those roles, having an expectation of the responsibilities and the key KPIs, if you want to say, what your expectations are of that role. And then the hierarchy in there, if there is one in a small space. But there is kind of a hierarchy that happens inside of management.
Yeah.
Between your CEO, your manager, and the coaches.
Makes me think of I don't know if you've ever heard this, John Cage.
Johnny Cage.
I think he's an author. He's a composer and a teacher, but he wrote this thing, 10 Rules for Students and Teachers, which was quoted at one of Ido's movement camps. But it was some quite cool things, but one of them is rule number 8, do not try to create and analyze at the same time. They are different processes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And it's kind of like when you're training someone and they're like asking you the wrong questions in the middle of a set and you're like, not now, later, just focus on doing it.
So true.
You know?
We got Ollie lifting coaching this morning in class. It's exactly that. I've been teaching people to stop, to finish the set, keep looking forward. Get people who do like a power clean, then they look over at you and then they do another rep while looking at you like, is that? And then like, is that?
Am I doing it right?
Am I doing it right? I'm like, all right, everyone, finish your fucking set. But also because, you know, and the idea is when you cluster those reps together, if you've got good cueing and you know the intention of the drill, then your body often, it's going to know, it wants to be efficient. So it's going to make some micro adjustments as you go.
Yep.
So by the end of the set, like it's going to feel a bit better for the last couple of reps. Say it's 5 reps each set. And maybe, you know, it's similar if you just keep going, and that would speak to the movement game. They want you to just keep doing it because the body's going to find the groove hopefully and fall into it. And then you can analyze it later.
Yeah, and I mean, even if it's not going to find the groove, you still have to give it the chance. Don't you?
Yeah, that's right.
It's like I talk about with jits often where coaches will show some really convoluted, complex sequence.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, guys, on 3, let's go. And then everyone breaks off to start practicing it. And then coach starts walking the room. They go to the first pair of white belts. And the white belt literally initiates his first repetition. And the coach says, stop. No. I said, grab here. No. Put your foot here. And because they want it to be perfect. They don't want you to make the mistake. Be like, bro, let the guy fucking drill it for 3 minutes without you breathing down his neck. And then go and tell him, hey, here's the one thing I want you to fix.
Yeah.
Which is really, I think we acknowledge that in the gym game where it's like, hey, you can't give people all the information right now.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's gone away from the main point, which is, there's time to analyze and there's time to do.
Yes. Yep.
And arguably when you're in a class and you're coaching them, you have your process, which is the program.
Yes.
Guys, this is the process, right? All you got to do is follow this. And I'm going to fucking tell you when to stop and, think about something else.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good. I think that's a nice little overview on the piece there. We're going to talk more about some of this managerial stuff over the coming weeks.
Yes, we are.
But I want to keep it high energy and I want to keep it short.
Hell yeah.
Because, whatever. It's not the sexiest part of the gym game. But I would say it's probably been the most profound stuff for us as gym owners, operators.
I would say that systems and process is non-negotiable if you want to make money, if you want to scale, if you want to go on stress-free holidays with your family. It's absolutely non-negotiable. And a lot of people, fitness trainers and PTs, I would say, tend to not have that in them. Maybe they've got a background in it, but you have to learn to love it and find a way. Some other aspects of training sucks. You've got to make it a process. Just turn up and do the things and find a way to love it. And then you got to live by them kind of, almost obsessively, because it only works if you keep the system going all the time. If not, you're going to die tired and unprofitable.
That's the reality, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's some big words. Tired and unprofitable. Yeah, let's try and avoid that from happening. Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you, fam. We'll see you on the next one.